Raccoon Point Studios. I'm Sean Bombs, and I finally got a TONEX. This thing is freaking amazing. Now, I've had the Kemper, I have UAFX Lion, I've had the Dream 65, I had the Strymon Iridium, and what else? I'm borrowing the Axe 8 from Fractal, and I know that's an older one, but still, it's still relevant, I think. It sounds great. Now, the thing with the Fractal is it is very tweakable, and it has so many options that I have no idea what they are. So it's good for people that really know amps and stuff like that. I am not one of those people. I know them enough to get my sound, but as far as like starving tubes, blah blah blah, the sag, the hum, I just can't be bothered. So not for me, but it's awesome piece of gear. Kemper's great too. But the thing with the Kemper is I've never found I could put fuzz in front of those. And that's basically what I'm looking for in one of these modelers or captures, is the fact that I can still do what I do with my Fender Deluxe Reverb or whatever amp I'm using at the time. And it's been hard for me to find that until now. Now, what sold me on this was this video right here from TONEX Pedal Lab. And this guy went through a bunch of different style fuzzes, real fuzz boxes, into the TONEX. I was like, bet, this sounds great. I gotta try this then. So yeah, check his video out. I'll leave a link down below. But yeah, this thing's awesome. You have so many different variety of sounds you can get, but it doesn't need to be overwhelming because you're not really tweaking a bunch of stuff. You have a few things: gate, compressor, delay, reverb, modulation that you can add, or you can not do anything. You know what I mean? So some of this stuff I used the TONEX effects, and some of it I used the HX Stomp effects. So we're gonna go through this track in solo on the guitars and the bass, because I used the bass. I'll get to that in a second, but we're going to go through this real quick, and then I'm going to go through some sounds that I found on the ToneNet that I dug, and I'm just inspired. Like, this thing has inspired me a lot. Like, last night was just playing through it and just trying different sounds, and could just play for like an hour or two, like just going off. Just like, that's what I want out of gear. I don't want to have to tweak a bunch of stuff to finally find where I'm going perfectly. I just want to go through different things and be like, boom, boom. And if I want a less bass or more treble here and there, whatever, that I can do that. I also want to be able to throw fuzz in front of it and all that fun stuff. So let's go through this. This was the 5150, or is the 5150. And I'm going to put it in center, and then I'm going to play the Mesa, and then I'm going to pan them so you can hear them in solo. I mean, they sound awesome together, especially pan left and right. Tight, saturated, feels like a speaker's actually being pushed. It's just amazing, man. I feel like this is IK Multimedia's comeback, like their LL Cool J, you know what I mean? Don't call it a comeback type shit. But, if you're I don't know how old everybody is watching this, but some of you will know what the hell I'm talking about. But so for the guitars, the clean guitars, I have a Fender Twin and a JC120 from Roland. So we're gonna start with the Twin, and I mean, it just makes it so easy to get stuff that sounds good. So the Fender Twin had a phaser from the TONEX, and then the delay was from the HX Stomp, and then the Jazz or JC120 had the chorus from the TONEX and its own and the reverb from the TONEX. So I mean, they sound so good together. And then the the lead, I put my green Big Muff in front of the 5150, and then I had a sweep delay in stereo. So that's the only channel. Those are the only channels that I put in stereo, is these two leads. And I mean, that's just glorious, dude. Like, there's no harshness in it. You just get that sustain and that round, big green Big Muff kind of thing. But going into that overdrive, it's just ridiculous. And then what blew me away is I can get feedback from this thing. And you know how it's kind of hard to get feedback from amp modelers, or usable feedback. This one part, let me find it. So I must have turned, and then I got the feedback to be out of key with the song. It was in key with the song, and then it went out of key, and I was like, I kind of like that. So that didn't bother me, and that's why I left it in there. So, I mean, geez, like, just crazy that I could even get that in there. So I'm really stoked about that. And then for the bass, I used my Ampeg SVT3, and the line out of it with the Big Muff, and you get this sound. I'll play it in solo, and then I'll tell you what I did. So the cool thing is the TONEX is standalone, or it can be a plug-in in your DAW. So what I did was I pulled it up, and I just used the cab simulator and smoothed this fuzz right out. Boom, it smoothed it out, and I'm very happy with it. And you notice, like, it smooths out that fuzz. You can do more if you want to get it to poke out more, in the 1K, 2K region. But you still have all the bottom end. Sometimes you use a speaker simulator for bass, and you lose that lower sub frequency or the lower octave. I think TONEX has surpassed everybody. That's my thoughts. I mean, I think they really have. And yeah, I really do. I think they really did. Let's go to the guitar now. I'm going to pick up the guitar, and I'm going to show you real quick. Now, this is still my preliminary findings of this whole thing, and I will do more videos on how I plan to use this. But the first thing you have in the slot is a dumble. And me personally, never played a dumble, never had an interest in a dumble because I didn't know anything, never heard of it until the internet started to chatter about it. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, having said that, this thing sounds good. Let me turn that up. Now, that's cool and all, right? What's even cooler is when you do this. I mean, that sounds like fuzz going into an amp to me. Like, it's not harsh. It's not overly anything. It just works. So let me turn that off. All right. So that's, one thing. And then, yeah, you have all this different stuff. So this is the dual rectifier that I liked. All right. And then, yeah, I mean, this noise gate, you can put this noise gate before or after. There we go. I'm still getting used to the software. Boom. Now it's after the cab. And you can set it up a little bit, So now let's go to, where am I at here? Oh, the library. And you can go to ToneNet. And let me go up to here. We're going to go there. And if you have auto load up, you can go through sounds either through ToneNet, but these are the ones that I had already liked off of their site or off of ToneNet, going through the other app where you go through your interface. I was messing around with that yesterday, but I mean, check this out. People are modeling fuzzes going into JC40s, right? So here, this is a good sound. I mean, that sounds like a fuzz going into an amp. Here's another one. Catlin bread. They're taking fuzz like champs, dude. What's this one? That's dope. You know, get that starved fuzz sound. This is, somebody did this into a Dream 65? What? Not bad. Then I could put on my delay. I'm gonna put a bass on now. One of the things that is important is your input trim. So let me show you. They're not, you know, it's not as hot, so it doesn't really sound good. There we go. I mean, this probably can go all the way up. All right, so here we have an SVT3 with a, or no, this is a SVT limited edition. I don't know what that means. Anyway, this has an 810. Then you can put this fuzz on. And let's see what this one sounds like. You know, a nice articulated bass. I mean, that sounds great. Now let me show you if it's with no cabinet on this SVT3. Right, and then if I do this, it's gonna be gnarly. See, it's a little too harsh. But nevertheless, you still have that low end. And then they have someone, this one's driving at B15. Huh? That's not right. It's a little. Let's see if this other one's better. So all of them, like, you probably have to like adjust your input and the output so they don't all, you know, depending how they set it up, you know, you might have to make some adjustments to get it to where you want it. So you see it said it was clipping, so I probably have to turn the input trim down to get a better signal there, but nevertheless. And you can, you know, tame it with your compressor. There we go. So, I mean, you know, that's overly done, obviously, but just to show you. So what do you think? I think it's, I don't know. I'm going to be diving into this a lot more, and I'll be sharing some more videos on it as I go. And I'll be writing, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be writing a new record. And yeah, it's just going to be whatever. It's going to be whatever. It's going to be whatever. We'll see what happens, because I just change with the wind sometimes. And I don't worry about sticking into anything at the moment. I just do what I do. And, you know, it usually goes with what I'm listening to at the time. Influences me somehow, and then, boom. It just adds to all the stuff I've listened to in my whole life, you know? So anyway, if you got anything out of this, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell. I think this thing's amazing. I don't ever tell anybody to get anything, but I highly recommend this thing, because you can have all your sounds, write an album with it, and then recreate your sounds, no problem. You know what I mean? So that's the plus side. All right. Anyway, bye.